It's the Guide Liverpool, and every single week I join this bloke on his radio show, Radio City Talk, the kick-off every weekday morning between 7 and 11. The voice of the Champions League final in 2005. Of course, Radio City, LFC TV, huge Liverpool fan. Steve Hothersall, how are we?
Great, thank you very much indeed for inviting me in.
Think?
Love the Guide Liverpool. Always watch it, always watch the stuff that's coming up through the Guide Liverpool, and wonderful to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, it's wonderful to have you here kind of at this moment in time, because Liverpool at the moment are doing phenomenal stuff. They're in a great place.
It's been an amazing season. I mean, any Liverpool fan will tell you it's probably taken them beyond their wildest dreams at the moment, because, you know, under Jurgen Klopp, you've got a superb leader. We love him to bits. He's this great character. He's flamboyant. He's one of us as fans, and he's transmitted that into the players who are producing on the pitch, the energy in the stadium. And of course, you only have to look at what they're doing in the Champions League now. It is probably further than anyone would have expected this season. I think we're all on cloud nine. We're just hoping that the bubble doesn't burst at any time.
Did it come out of the blue? Because I think last season they obviously weren't doing as well as this. Did it come out of the blue?
I think there's a sense at the beginning of this season that people thought Liverpool have got such great firepower that they're probably a match for anyone in a one-on-one situation. I don't think anyone was thinking we'd win the league, but I think in terms of cup competitions, and there was a sense that Liverpool can score lots of goals in games, and we saw that progress throughout the course of the season. So once they'd been through the group stage of the Champions League and we'd seen some impressive performances, I think there's this idea that Liverpool could possibly beat anyone. And then, of course, we saw the dismantling of Porto away 5-0. I mean, that was a stunning performance. You know, hat-trick from Sadio Mane, and we're all thinking, wow, wait, you know, where's this train going now? And such is the relationship between Liverpool and the Champions League, stretching back to 2005, as you mentioned, or even 2007. I think there's this idea that Liverpool have got a unique connection with the competition. So actually, when they got Manchester City in the quarter-finals, there was a slight fear that City are probably the better team over maybe the long course of a Premier League haul. But on a two-legged affair, I think there was a lot of confidence from Liverpool fans. And we saw the most incredible occasion at Anfield. Unbelievable. The atmosphere was just electric. Anyone who was at Anfield for the quarter-final, that will live with you for many, many a year. So you get past Manchester City over two legs, and then, of course, you're in the last four. And you think, and anything can happen, and this is where we find ourselves now.
So next week, obviously, we got the second leg. So what are we going in with? Explain that to us.
So, of course, Liverpool beating Roma 5-2 in the first leg. So again, that following on from the Manchester City game, I think we've had possibly two of the greatest European atmospheres back to back that you could imagine. Now, Liverpool scoring 5 goals in a semi-final of a Champions League, a European Cup. It's ludicrous. It shouldn't happen. It doesn't happen, but it did happen. Now, of course, some fans left Anfield with a little bit of a tinge of, because Roma got 2 late goals back. But it still effectively means that, you know, Roma would have to win 3-0 or 4-1 in the return leg to actually make their passage to the final. And I think the general sense is that Liverpool should be too good to make that happen. We've got some wonderful attacking players. Mo Salah is the man on everyone's lips, arguably the best player in the world. I think in terms of Mo himself, he wants to set records. He wants to be the Premier League's top scorer. You know, there's this wonderful chant that goes around Anfield about him at the moment. He would probably like to be named the World Player of the Year or win the Ballon d'Or. But in the weird football world, that's judged between January and December.
Right.
So in the wider football community, there'll be a lot of eyes on him and weighing him up against Messi and Ronaldo and saying, is he the best? But they'll only judge the 4 or 5 months that we've just had in this year. So he's got to do it on the start of next season up to December, which we all hope he will. And maybe he could win the World Player of the Year, but without a shadow of a doubt, he's the PFA Player of the Year. He's the best player in the Premier League. He's beaten Kevin De Bruyne and Harry Kane, and deservedly so. And who knows, he might fire Liverpool to a Champions League win.
A 6th, fingers crossed. Have you met him?
Yeah, lovely
What's
guy.
he like?
Lovely guy. I'm lucky. I work within one of the lounges at Anfield, the Carlsberg Lounge, a very small lounge, and we're the only lounge that gets a player after the match, and Mo, of course, wins the man of the match virtually all the time.
Yeah.
And he's lovely. He's so humble, like a lot of the Liverpool players, and they're all very similar. He's very down to earth. He's humble. He's pleasant. He's a devout Muslim. He's got great manners. He loves talking to the fans, and it's something that you see. It's a chain that you see through a lot of the players. Roberto Firmino came in after the Roma game. He's very similar. You see a lot of the South Americans. They've got lovely personalities, and I think Jurgen Klopp's just got a really good group of players together that get on very well. Almost see him as a father figure, and Mo is most very definitely the star man of it all.
Okay, we've got to talk about you, because in 2005 there was a great moment. I worked with you for many years on Radio City, and the sports team at Radio City, that passion really comes through and comes through the headlines when you're reporting on whatever. Is it hard to distance yourself though sometimes, because you must get really excited, and there was that great moment when we won the Champions League in 2005. How do you do it, and how do you keep steady while you're commentating?
Well, the memories of 2005 are still really fresh. Myself and John Aldridge in the commentary box at the Ataturk Stadium in Istanbul, and it's probably the one moment that I'd still get asked about an awful lot. Obviously, we did about 15 years of commentary together, and people refer to different things, but it is that one moment where we both got it right at the right time, and you can't plan for a game like that. It almost went beyond commentary to actually a couple of fans really getting caught up in the occasion.
But you've still got to keep that kind of, professional level and guide the listener through what's happening.
And I think I was doing that far more than he was, because John's obviously a little bit eccentric, a bit of a crackpot, goes over the edge. So say, for example, when Liverpool won the Champions League in 2005, we'd be sat here as the commentary team. He had his headphones on and the penalties were being taken, and Shevchenko took his penalty. Jerzy Dudek saved it, put his hand up, and John just took his headphones off, threw them, and then ran off into the distance in the press box, leaving me on my own. And I think that sort of wacky nature of it all really sort of resonated with the fans, and I think we were lucky. We created an iconic bit of commentary there, which, I'm not sure anything will ever beat that. I'd love Liverpool to win a 6th European Cup, but I think in my heart of hearts, nothing will beat that personal moment on the radio for us.
And we've still got CDs available, which you can still get your hands on.
Come round to my house.
In the basement of the Radio City Tower. So obviously we're looking ahead to next week, the second leg. Fingers crossed, obviously everything crossed for Liverpool next week. If you're not going to the game, Anfield do something really special, and LFC are famous for putting on these great events for the fans. Tell us about this, what they're doing now.
Yeah, the LFC events team are brilliant, and I think this season they've managed to do this really well. When there's been a big away game, it might be Manchester United in the Premier League or Everton in the Premier League, they've had beanbacks, so they've used some of their wonderful new lounges within the new stand, so fans can come in there with their children. You'd often think, well, where would I go and take the kids and watch the game if it's an away game? And Liverpool have been doing that a lot this season. It's proved really successful. Really nice environment, bit of food, mum and dad can have a beer or wine, whatever, and watch the game on a multitude of screens in the brand new stand. Now, of course, for a game of this magnitude, Roma away, what the LFC events team have done is they're putting on a giant screen in front of the Kop, because obviously the demand's going to be huge. If you're not going to go to Roma, where are you going to watch the game?
Well, you want that
better place?
As well, exactly. What
in front of the Kop? So giant screen. If you're a season ticket holder, maybe you want to go and sit in your seat in the Kop. If you're not, maybe just go and experience the Kop for the first time and soak up what is a historic occasion. I mean, they're on the verge of a Champions League. They've more than got one foot in the Champions League final. So I think it's a wonderful thing to maybe experience or try out, and Anfield the destination.
Well, listen, we'll put info for that on the website, on the post underneath this video. Check that out, some tickets still available. Steve Hothersall, it's been fascinating. I could speak to you every week, and I'm not a footy fan. Steve Hothersall from Radio City Talk, and I'll be back with him next Wednesday morning. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Jack.